Hey you guys, welcome back to the landscape photography series, and today we're going to talk about three shots that I'm really excited about to do. So let's get into it. So every trip that I take, there's always a handful of shots that kind of live rent free in my head before I even pack my bag. And I'm not talking like general shots, not I'll figure it out when I get there shots, like specifically plan shots that I'm obsessed with, and it's not just uh, a quick process, right? There's shots that I already know the location, I already know the lighting I'm chasing, and I already know exactly what it is that I want to walk away with. So, this trip to the Philippines, there are three of them that I'm really excited. So, starting with the first one, which is not Kwanzaa, uh, Kamwanshi Falls, which is in Cebu. I'm also excited to be in Manila for the Skyline, for the rooftop sky bar, and the last one, which I'm really excited about, are the Chocolate Hills over in Bohol. We have three completely different subjects. We have waterfalls, we have skyline, which is city, and then we have landscape, right? So, yes, waterfall is a landscape, but it's more about the waterfall versus the vast beauty of the land. And I think this is going to be very interesting to see how this works because I'm going to break it down exactly how I plan the approach to each one, the settings that I'm looking at, and some of the gear that I'm going to be using. So, let's get into it. So, the first location I want to talk about is Kawasan Fall. Let's go ahead and check this out. This is going to be our first one in Cebu. And I'm really excited. So this is it right here. Okay. Now, I know to everyone who's looking at this map, they're like, okay, what are we looking at, right? Well, what we're looking at is right here is Kwanzaa Falls. Now, what's unique about this isn't just a single waterfall. You have the falls here, then you have, I believe, right here or right here, the dam, and then you have another upper waterfall somewhere in this area. So you actually have three different things you can check out. And one of the great things that I like, specifically when I'm planning my shots, is I really like to utilize Google Earth Pro. Google Earth Pro is a little bit better than Google Earth, like that's on your phone and stuff like that, because you have more control. So, for example, we can look at time of day and see how that works, right? So right now it's 3:10 in the morning over there. And so it's going to be nighttime. But it allows us to see the scenery in different lights. The great thing about Google Earth is we can actually look at all of the dots, right? So we have, what the falls down here, and there it is right there. But now this isn't a good photo, but it's not about the photo, it's about the location. It's about, okay, what is it that we're looking at, right? Okay, so there's a bridge, some murky crown looking color, looks like algae and stuff. But so we can see the road, we can see that we'll have to walk up the trail past some houses, and looks like there's might be a snack bar over here. And so that's your first lower fall. Now, this is going to allow me to then exit the street view, control, look down to see what the next section looks like. And so we can drop a pin. And now when we look, right, we have more dots in this little area that we're looking at on the map, which means that's a high tourist area, which is probably where the big raft is, right? So here we are. So we were just over there. So the previous photo, right, we're looking at the same house right here. We can see the building. We were just down that way, but now we're higher up, and look at this. It's the same waterfall. That's the stream right there. You have the big, beautiful raft, beautiful crown looking color, and you have another raft right here. So for this shot specifically, what I'm wanting to do is I want the raft and I want the waterfall. That is a for sure thing. Now, maybe I can add in these rocks in a way that are on the, in the foreground with the raft to create something interesting. Maybe I can use this canyon wall back here that comes across as a leading line with this raft. Or I just do something simple, maybe get down low right here, shooting this bamboo raft with just the waterfall, right? So, right there, we just talked about three different shots. And so the technique that we're going to talk about now, specifically for this waterfall, there are battles between two things that you want to simultaneously do. First, you want a slow enough shutter speed to blur the water and enough detail in everything else to keep the image sharp and grounded. And this is where blending is going to come in. So what I'm going to end up doing is my plan is to show up kind of early as physically as I can to get beautiful light, which means straight to the hike before sunrise at the canyon walls that are going to block the different light for a while, which will actually work in my favor because softer, more diffused light means what? I can shoot at a slow shutter speed. And if I can shoot at a slow shutter speed without having to throw on a neutral density filter, then that works out for me. Now, for my settings specifically, I would like to try and get um, a 15-second and a 30-second for the shutter speed, but I also want to shoot at f11 and f16. And we already know what we're doing. So we'll do our five stops, our -2, our -1, our neutral, our +1, and +2. That's going to give us that whole dynamic range. Now that we have the whole dynamic range, once we're back at our computer, I know I have every single piece of light. I have everything there. It's just piecing it together like a puzzle. I'm going to try and keep my ISO at 50 or 100 depending on the light. Uh, but I could be wrong. Maybe I get out there, right, and it's raining. And that's okay, right? That's the great thing about landscape photography. We can only plan so much, right? I know there's a tropical storm. I know it's going to be raining. Not a lot because that's the beginning of the tropical season. But even then, you need to come up with ideas on the shots that you're wanting to do. So that way you'll be able to do what it is that you're wanting to do. Now, the second shot I want to talk about, actually, before I talk about the second shot, let's exit this so I can show you the upper falls. So here's Kawasan Fall right here. I think this is it. Is this it? Maybe. Yep, there it is. So here's the second waterfall, right? That we'll go up to. We have some rocks. But what do we see in the video? I see helmets. I see life vests, which means there's probably a tour group that comes through this area, right? There's some vests over here. Look at all the helmets right here, right? Like it's like whitewater rafting, You know when you're on a tour because you stand out like a sore thumb, and this guy's probably the dude who's in charge. So we know we have another waterfall, but this one is more diverse. Like the waterfall right here on the right is in the shade, but the one to the left is in bright daylight. So I know I can work with this. Maybe I can utilize this tree right here, depending on the angle, or maybe I can get, over here in this corner and shoot this waterfall this way. I don't know. But there's options, right? And I know that, right, we know that this is a shot that we want to get, and we know that we want to be there early in the morning. And then the last one that we want to check out, we did there. I think it's right. Let's try this one. No, not that one. That's not the right one. Where is it? I believe it might be right here. There's a dam over here, and if I can't find it, then I will just go to where I was at. But this is another shot that I would like to get, right? I want to get low over here with this wood and these rocks and get this little guy with all of the beautiful roots from the trees and the flowers. Um, so it's not pulling up. I know it's in here somewhere. There is 3 levels. Um, but right here at this mini hydro plant, that's really a big hot touristy area because you have the dam right there. And that's that big, really big Instagram uh area where, everybody wants to get that shot. It's a high uh touristy area. But let me pull this over for you. So here we go. So this is the first fall. This is the lower fall that we were talking about, right? You have the bamboo bridge with the water. And they move these rafts around so you get different angles. The dam is at level 3. And this is what I'm talking about. This is that Instagram photo where you have the beautiful water and the dam and the water running off that everyone gets when they go to the Philippines. And then yeah, so we have all 3 layers that we'll be checking out, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. The second place that I'm really excited about is the Skyline Bar. There we go, found it finally. Okay, so here we are. I finally found the dot, and this is the Skyline. This is the bar where everything is. I don't even know what that is. That's kind of interesting. But the shot that we care about is, it looks like some water right there. It looks like a little pool or something. Right here, the Manila Skyline. And that's a beautiful shot right there that we're looking at. And, going from a waterfall to this shot in Manila, the skyline is very dense, as you can see. We have new development going on, they're layered, and it's going to be a very dramatic, moody shot from the rooftop sky bar, specifically when it's the right moment. And when it happens, you know it will happen. When the lights are fully illuminated, when you get all of the blue sunset and the golden hour, all of that comes together. We want a beautiful sky with beautiful lights. And this is going to be a very fun process because what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to bracket. And not just bracket, but we'll have to, blend in HDR to get our dynamic range. Blend in the lights, blend in the clouds to really get a beautiful popping city because that's what people are wanting to see. This is a boring flat photo. There's nothing interesting about it. But if you add lights, you add color up in the sky, up in this area, right? We can add color in the sky. It'll be a beautiful shot. Now, a tripod will definitely be mandatory. The one thing I don't know, unless I'm able to get like right here in the corner, I don't know if I'll be allowed to use a tripod. And that's okay. Because you know why? We have a table. We can just mount our camera. There's this railing right here that you can put the strap over your head so you don't drop your camera and set it on the railing and very carefully take your pictures. You can do it. It can be done if you do it right. But this is where you're going to really have to slow down and trust your process. Now for the aperture, I'm going to be shooting at f11 because I want those starbursts within the city, but I also want those city lights to stand out because it's a part of what really brings this whole photo together. And the ISO, we want to keep it as low as possible. Again, 50 to 100 because a long exposure at a high ISO, specifically on a cityscape, will introduce noise into the skyline that is very difficult to remove. And so I'm looking at a focal length between 16 to 24. We want to shoot wide so we can see the whole skyline. And now there's still planning I need to do before I actually get there. Like I want to know the exact compass direction, the bar faces so I can check, where the lights are coming from, sunrise, sunset, and actually, kind of, looking at this, um, you know, we can see right here that north is kind of to our right. So, so northeast, southwest, we're, it looks like we're pointing about west, what east west kind of ordeal. And so, there's still some things I need to do. Uh, you can, I want warmer tones on the horizon, and if it means, if I'm east facing, it's going to be more purple, blue territory, which honestly might even be better. Sometimes I like that color. You know, you get what you get, and the great thing is it's what you're able to do. And as we get closer, I'm also going to be checking the weather forecast the day before, because if it's partly cloudy covers, it's actually ideal for this shot. Clouds, lit below, from the city, it's going to add extra texture and drama to the sky, which is, a completely clear sky can look flat, and a completely overcast sky, can kill everything. So we want something in between, which I think is phenomenal. Moving along, the last place that I'm really excited about are the Chocolate Hills in Cebu. The Chocolate Hills are going to be on a completely different island because we're going to be island hopping. And so here, all of everything that we're looking at, all of this is all the Chocolate Hills. Ah, here it is. I was too far up. That's why. Here we go. The Chocolate Hills viewpoint. There we go. This is what I'm looking for. Boom. There's all my dots. And let's find a better photo. Or a better spot, I guess I would say. Let's see what this dot looks like. Alright, it's a little better. So here we are at the Chocolate Hills, and that's what they are. These hills that we're looking at, those are all the Chocolate Hills. Now with this, okay, again, high torsi spot. But this is the shot that we're wanting. Now, with the Chocolate Hills of Bohol, there are over thousands nearly perfectly cone-shaped limestone hills. That's what these are. These hills spread across more than 50 square kilometers, and they get their name because during the dry season, the grass covering them turns brown, which makes them look chocolate, i.e., dead grass, brown, chocolate, yummy, yummy. But making the entire landscape look like an endless field of chocolate truffles is very surreal. And with this shot, it's all about timing. When I get there, I might get lucky and they might be brown. I might not get lucky and they may not be brown. Photographs, in photographs, and I can only imagine it what it feels like on the inside. The hills themselves are subjects, right? But what makes or breaks this image is going to be its depth. The depth is going to be what really pulls this photo together. And with over 1,000 hills in this area, there's so much we can do. And I actually found out that there's an ATV tour that you can do out here where you can drive through all of them. And, for these shots to work the way that I want, I'm envisioning them. I need, morning mist. And the Philippines is right at the season for that, at a low ground level where it's going to be kind of hazy. And that's, sits between the hills and the soft background where the layers, while keeping the foreground sharp with detail. We're going to shoot at f11 like always. We're going to keep our ISO low. And the shooting sequence at this location is not just one frame. It's what I want options. And so as we're going through the range for, wide establishing shots, part of this process is I'm creating a shot list. I have a whole shot list of what it is that I'm working on and what it is that I'm trying to do. So these are the few, these are the shots, the three completely different shots that I'm very excited. Different approaches, one trip, a waterfall that is going to demand a slow shutter speed, with a neutral density filter. I'm going to have an early alarm, a skyline that lives and dies by a 15-minute window of blue white, right? Like, and then, not just that, but you have the landscape that needs mist. And in this case, I'm not going to take my telephotos. I'm taking the 24 to 70, and that's it. And perspective, you know, does it work? Is it going to work? None of these shots are guaranteed. That's the thing, right? None of these are guaranteed. Weather happens, crowds happen, light doesn't always cooperate. But the more deliberately you plan your shots, the better chances of you know, being able to have that perfect shot. And the better your chances of walking away with something real. And I'm going to show you that when I get back. I'm going to be making photos as I'm over there. And, the next two videos, they're going to be something simple. I might do a history video or talk about traveling to the Philippines. But regardless, these are the shots that I'm excited for, and I hope you enjoy them. If you are enjoying the series, hit that like button. Please subscribe. It helps me out. It helps the channel out. And you have a lovely day. I'll see you next time.